Hello children. Hello children. In the last class we discussed application of Kirchhoff's laws and I'm sure you understood very well. Now we proceed on to the next few topics which are important, not numerically important but conceptually important for exams. First one is Wheatstone's bridge. Actually children, Wheatstone's bridge was proposed by a British scientist Wheatstone in 1840s, and it's a very important device. In fact, it's a theoretical device which consists of 4 resistances. Here are the 4 resistances connected in the form of a star, and here we have a bridge. Okay, here we have a bridge. The 4 resistances of P, Q, R and S in adjacent arms we have connected. This point A, this is B, this is C and this is D, and the bridge is in the form of a galvanometer which is connected between points B and D, you can see, and here we are connecting a DC source. We can connect a key here. Now the significance of Wheatstone's bridge is that one of these resistances is not known. Suppose P is not known or maybe S is not known. So the unknown resistances can be calculated by balancing all the 4 resistances P, Q, R and S. And what is the meaning of balancing? Suppose S is not known to us, then what I will do? I will keep P and Q constant and I will continue to change what? R. And a stage will be reached when B and D will become equipotential surfaces, equipotential points, and if B and D will become equipotential, then current through galvanometer will become how much? 0. And at that stage galvanometer will not show any deflection, right? Then we will say that the Wheatstone bridge is balanced, and by balancing we can calculate one of the unknown resistances. Suppose S is not known, I can calculate S. If P is not known, I can calculate P, right? So a Wheatstone bridge, it has a combination of 4 resistances, right? One of the resistances is unknown. One of the resistances is unknown, right? The unknown resistance is calculated. The unknown resistance is calculated by balancing of Wheatstone's bridge. Now we will see condition for balancing. Let us understand the distribution of current. Suppose the battery is supplying current I. Here this current is I1. This current is I2. This is I2. This is I3. And this is I4. And current through galvanometer is how much of Ig. Clear? Now what is condition for balancing? Condition for balancing of Wheatstone's bridge. Like I said, this Wheatstone's bridge is balanced if points B and D, they are at the same potential, they become equipotential, and in this case current through galvanometer will be 0. So we say a Wheatstone's bridge is said to be balanced if current through galvanometer, that is Ig, is 0. So for certain value of the four resistances, of course one I do not know, suppose S I am not knowing, all the four resistances are chosen in such a manner that current through galvanometer becomes how much? 0, and at that stage we say all the resistances have been what? Balanced, or Wheatstone's bridge has been balanced. So for balanced bridge, Ig will be equal to 0. This is the condition. For balanced bridge, Ig will be 0. Now let's look at the distribution of current, children. If currents between B and D does not flow, Ig becomes 0, then I1 will be equal to how much? I3, because there is no division of current here, and I2 will be equal to I4, again because there will be no distribution of current. Therefore we have I1 is equal to I3 and I2 is equal to I4. Bear this in mind. Now I will be using Kirchhoff's law. First I will be using loop ABDA, right? In loop ABDA, Ig is 0. Here we have in loop ABDA, here we use Kirchhoff's second law, I1P plus Yg into G, where capital G is resistance of the galvanometer, minus I2R is equal to how much? 0. There is no battery connected. But how much is Ig for balanced bridge? 0. So if I put 0, then what do we get? I1P minus I2R is equal to 0. So I1P is equal to how much here? I2R. I'll say this is equation 1. Clear? Now I'll go to this loop BCDB. In loop BCDB, again I3 Q minus Ig into G minus I4 into S is equal to 0. We have not connected any battery, so how much you get on the right hand side? 0. Again we know for balanced bridge, but Ig equals to how much, children? 0, because when the bridge is balanced there will be no current between points B and D, so Ig will be how much? 0. So I3Q minus I4S is equal to how much you get, children? 0. But we said I1 is equal to I3 and I2 is equal to I4. If you put these values here, then what do you get? I1Q minus I2S is equal to 0, or I1Q is equal to I2S. This is equation 2. Now I'll just divide 1 by 2. Children, if you divide 1 by 2, then what do we get? I1P divided by I1Q is equal to I2R divided by I2S. We can cancel out I2 and I1. So here is the condition of balanced bridge, children. P by Q is equal to R by S. This is a very important result that we derived. You get in the exam also derived condition for balanced Wheatstone's bridge. P by Q with P by Q is equal to R by S in case all the four resistances have been balanced. Okay. Alright, children. So condition for balanced bridges, the condition for balanced bridge is the ratio of resistances in the adjacent arms will be same. If you don't have a galvanometer to put here, you can imagine a situation where ratio of resistances in the adjacent arms is same. P by Q is equal to R by S. So for a balanced bridge, two conditions we saw. First one, current through galvanometer is 0 and ratio of resistances in the adjacent arms is same. P by Q is equal to R by S. One of the resistances is not known, we can always calculate. Suppose P is not known, S is not known, R is not known, Q is not known. Any one of these you can easily calculate. Now there is very important aspect when you do numericals. Let's look at this. Suppose I give you a problem like this. Let's look at this. 5, 10, 6, 12 and this is 100 ohm. A, B. Now when you look at the circuit, then you know this circuit resembles Wheatstone's bridge. Remember I mentioned this term Wheatstone's bridge when I was discussing application of Kirchhoff's laws. Now when you get a diagram like this, you will immediately recall Wheatstone's bridge and try to work out whether it is a balanced bridge or not. So let's check it out. For being a balanced bridge, it is not possible for me to put a galvanometer in check. So this condition will not be always applicable. So what I will be using? I will be using this condition. The ratio of resistance in the adjacent arms, if I use 5 by 10 is equal to half, 6 by 12 is equal to half. That means 5 by 10 is equal to 6 by, therefore what I say? 5 by 10 is equal to 6 by 12. And the moment you come across this conclusion, the ratio of resistances in the adjacent arms is same. So it represents balanced Wheatstone's bridge. So I'll say hence it represents a balanced Wheatstone's bridge. Balanced Wheatstone's bridge. And children, when this diagram is representing a balanced Wheatstone's bridge, then very important thing for you to remember. Suppose I take this point as C and D, then whatever resistance I'll put here, it will not work. It will not work because these 2 points will be always equipotential, no current will flow. So what will I do is, since this resistance will not work, even if I put 1,000,000 ohms here, it will not make any difference to the combination because this resistance will not be required. So it is as good as this resistance is not there. So I will remove this resistance and what will be equivalent circuit? It will become something like this. This is 5, this is 10 and this is 6, all are ohms and this is 12. This is A and this is B. Now children, when you look at this diagram, do you know that this is a highly simplified circuit diagram? This middle resistance of the problem is out. Now 5 and 10, they are connected how? They are connected in series. So effective this will be how much? 10 plus 5, this is 15 ohm. 6 and 12 are again in series. So how much is this? 18 ohm. And you can see that 15 ohm and 18 ohm, how they are connected? They are connected in series. Once I know this, then I can easily calculate equivalent resistance. Therefore, R equivalent is equal to 15 into 18. Therefore, R equivalent is equal to 15 into 18 divided by 15 plus 18. So 15 into 18 divided by 33, 11 and this is how much? 5, so 90 by 11 ohms. So if you are given a problem on balanced Wheatstone's bridge, then you should be able to very easily handle it. If you see any circuit like this, always try to find out the ratio of resistances in the adjacent arms. But suppose I change the resistances, like I make this is 5, this is 10 and this is 12 and this is 6 and this is for example 100 ohm. Now children, does this circuit represent balanced Wheatstone's bridge? It is not representing. See the ratio, 5 by 10 is equal to half. but 12 by 6 is equal to 2. So they are not balanced. So you have to be very careful about deciding whether the ratio of resistance in the adjacent terms is same or not. Okay. So make sure that you understand this concept. Now I will proceed with the next topic, meter bridge. Now children, our next topic is meter bridge. You can see the name here, meter bridge. Now meter bridge is a practical form of Wheatstone's bridge. There are two practical applications of Wheatstone's bridge you have. One is used in thermometer designing, that's called Callender and Griffiths bridge. And second one is meter bridge or slide wire bridge. That's we are going to study now. Meter bridge. What is a meter bridge? A meter bridge is an arrangement which has got copper stripes like this. These are copper stripes. They are fitted on a wooden board. Here we have a scale. Scale is reading from 0 to is a meter scale, 100 centimeter, right? You can see that these all copper stripes. We will be doing practicals in the lab. This practical is very much there in your syllabus. This is copper stripe, okay? Copper stripe. Why copper? Because copper is a very good conductor of electricity. You can see there are two gaps, two small gaps here. In one small gap here, we connect a resistance box. You have seen a resistance box in the lab? It is a number of keys, and on each key, the value of the resistance is written. So, resistance box is basically a set of known resistances. And here I am connecting unknown resistance. Suppose unknown resistance is X. Clear? And across this larger gap is exactly of 1 meter length. We are fixing a copper wire here. A copper wire of length 1 meter, having uniform cross section, right? And we are connecting a DC source about 2 volts here. We are connecting a key, and that's it. So this is your meter bridge, and this whole arrangement here, this is fitted on a wooden board. This is a wooden board on which this arrangement is fitted. And suppose I want to calculate this unknown resistance X, right? Between these two, here we have another point, another terminal, where we connect a galvanometer, and the other end of the galvanometer is connected to a jockey. Jockey is denoted by J. So this is a meter bridge. A meter bridge has got copper stripes fitted on a wooden board. There are 2 smaller gaps, and there is a large gap of exactly 1 meter. In one of the smaller gaps, we connect a resistance box. In the other smaller gap, we connect unknown resistance. In the larger gap of 1 meter, we have fitted a 1 meter scale starting with 0 to 100 centimeter, and then a copper wire is connected. This copper wire has got uniform cross section, right? And then here we have, if copper wire is not available, you can also use nichrome wire, magnesia wire. Why we use these wires? Because they have high resistivity and they have low temperature coefficient of resistance, right? Between the 2 smaller gaps, we have connected a galvanometer, and the other end of the galvanometer is connected to jockey. It is a slide wire jockey. Actually, we can slide it like a pencil, and the whole arrangement is fitted on a wooden board, right? So meter bridge. Why we call it meter bridge? Because of this length of wire is exactly of 1 meter. Clear? So construction is it has copper stripes fitted on a wooden board with two smaller gaps and one larger gap of 1 meter. Okay, in the larger gap a wire of length 1 meter is connected in the larger gap, and a DC source is applied across it. So children, this is the construction of meter bridge. Here you have seen two smaller gaps with a larger gap. In one of the smaller gaps, a resistance box RB is connected. So children, the resistance box is nothing but what? It is known resistance, right? And in the other gap, unknown resistance X is connected. So children, this is the construction of meter bridge. You can take a screenshot, you can write it down. I'll be erasing it. 3. Now what is theory of meter bridge? Let's see. I'll take this point as A, this point as B, this point as C, and when jockey is being tapped, I'll take this point as D. Clear? So what we'll do is, we'll take a resistance from the resistance box. What will you do? We'll take a resistance from the resistance box and we'll tap the two ends of the wire at points A and C. When we tap at point A and suppose deflection the galvanometer is in the clockwise direction, then at C it must be in the which direction? Anti-clockwise direction. Clear? Meaning, we make sure that deflection at the 2 points is in opposite direction. When this is done, then I'll start sliding the jockey on this meter bridge wire like this. When I tap the jockey at the point D, then we'll find that galvanometer will be not showing any deflection. When galvanometer is not showing any deflection, then we will see that the meter bridge is balanced. So what will you do? Theory. We take a resistance from the resistance box. Now this resistance which I am taking from the resistance box is actually the known resistance, right? So we will take a resistance from the resistance box and start sliding the jockey on the bridge wire. At a certain point, there is no deflection in the galvanometer. At point D, there is no deflection. in the galvanometer. There is no deflection in galvanometer. Then what will you do? In this case, Wheatstone's meter bridge is what? Balanced. This represents balanced Wheatstone's bridge. Wheatstone's bridge. And children, and D is called null point. D is called null point. So you understood all these concepts. Once we got D, and we should try to ensure that the null point comes close to middle. So midpoint will be 50, plus minus left and right you can take, meaning between 40 to 60. That is the ideal case. So it's called null point. Now let balancing length is D. Length is L. Let balancing length is L. Meaning AD is equal to L. If AD is equal to L, children, then how much will be CD? 100 minus L. Clear? Now, when I redraw this circuit, then between points A and B, I have what? Only the resistance box. Let's redraw the circuit. Between points A and D, you will draw the circuit. This is A and this is D. Here we got only the resistance box. Clear? Between A and B, Then between B and C, if you see here, we are ignoring the resistance of copper stripes which have very low resistance. So this is unknown resistance, that is X. This is point C. Between C and D, we have resistance of wire CD. I will be writing RCD. And between A and D, I have resistance of wire RAD. And here I have a galvanometer. So children, when I look at this diagram, then it reminds me of what? It reminds me of balanced Wheatstone's bridge, because the current through the galvanometer is 0. Okay. Now let resistance of unit length is smaller. Suppose I can take anything. The resistance of ED will be how much? L into R. The resistance of CD will be 100 minus L into R. Now, since the bridge has been balanced, so we will have, I will regard this as P, I regard this as Q, regard this as R, I regard this as what? S. Clear? So we have, for a balanced bridge, I will be using condition now, children. Condition is P by Q is equal to R by S. And P is what? We have taken P as known resistance. So P is P. Q is how much of X that I want to calculate. R is resistance of AD. Resistance of AD is how much of L into R divided by 100 minus L into R. Now I will cancel out R and R and I will solve. Then X is equal to 100 minus L divided by L into P. Where X is what? Unknown resistance. So we are very easily able to calculate what is the value of unknown resistance. I will be writing unknown resistance X is equal to 100 minus L by L into P, and P is known resistance that we have taken out from the resistance box. If I put it here, then I can easily calculate how much is the unknown resistance X. So we only need to know L and we need to know how much is P, and P we are taking from the resistance box. Now once we know this X, then you can also calculate its what? Resistivity. So resistivity of the wire, you already know is rho is equal to R into A by L. And children, the wire is cylindrical, it has a circular cross section. So what will be area of the wire? Pi r square. Or if the diameter is known, they know radius is diameter by 2, so A is equal to how much? Pi into d square by 4. If I put this here, the rho will be equal to R into A is how much? Pi d square by 4 into L, where L is actually how much? 100 centimeter or 1 meter. Let's say the distance is L, length is L. Otherwise, you will start thinking that this L is same as this L which I got. This was L, right? And this was how much? 100 minus L, right? Total length of the wire AC is taken as what? Capital L. And in our experiment, so this L and this L are different, and resistance of this unknown wire which I am putting is how much here? L. Clear? L is length of unknown wire, unknown resistance, right? This resistance will be given to in the form of a coiled resistance, a wire rolled on an insulated frame, right? So this is meter bridge we discussed and how we can use it to find the unknown resistance, and we also learned how we can calculate the resistance.